I had become obsessed. My quest to stop them.
Obsidian has leaned hard into turning the Outer Worlds into a sci-fi detective game with its 2 DLC expansions. That's a direction that plays to the strength of its characters and writing. And that's smart, considering the combat has pretty much fully run out of gas by this point. The second and final one, Murder on Eridanos, is a more intimate and local whodunit that has you following a trail of clues around a series of colorful floating islands to interview weird suspects and hold up a high-tech magnifying glass to highlight clues. It's not a grand send-off for this upstart RPG, but it is another good chunk of time spent in its universe.
I have more than a few issues with how inspectors are portrayed in serials, but I look forward to the opportunities this affords us to judge people.
After a brief setup in which the star of an in-universe TV show is murdered, you're handed a badge and sent off to be an impartial investigator. I only wish we'd gotten to see or at least hear more of these noirish halcyon Helen serials, since the small taste we do get is tons of fun and right up the alley of the Outer Worlds universe's dark humor. The crime boss, the jilted lover, the weird self-help guru, the arrogant co-star, and more are on the list of people of interest. And most of them are in fact interesting people to talk to. It's a bona fide murder mystery, and there is a lot of dialogue here since so much of the sleuthing is climbing through every branch of their conversation trees. And between that and reading emails on terminals, going through every detail for evidence can take a while. Depending on how thorough you are, that can be over 10 hours, which is not bad at all for an expansion to a 25-hour RPG. As far as I can tell, there isn't a significant effect on the story based on your role-playing dialogue choices. But there are a couple of big decisions to make once you close in on a suspect. For one, you get to actually guess at who killed the actor, which is a refreshing breath of fresh air when so many detective games are on rails. Sure, no matter who you accuse, the final confrontation is effectively the same, but it feels great to be given the chance to make a call and then find out if you're right or wrong about it, which is a lot more than Peril on Gorgon did. And of course, then you have to decide what to do once you discover what really happened and the secret Halcyon Helen was killed to protect, and you're given some justification to go either way. You never actually leave Eridanos as part of the main quest, or even return to your ship. You're given a temporary base of operations. So it's good that the map is impressively diverse, with each of the connected floating islands containing 1 or 2 distinctive areas. There's the scene of the crime at an upscale hotel, the distillery Helen was there to promote, a crime boss's lair, a vast field of purple flowers, weird caves, and more. This doesn't have the feeling of a map that's cobbled together from existing parts. The only obnoxious thing about it is these long bridges that connect the islands and how eagerly the main quest sends you back and forth across them. Ugh, why don't you walk 1,800 meters to the next conversation? This kind of thing is exactly what fast travel was invented for. I didn't feel bad about taking that shortcut, in part because by the time you're at the required level 30, the Outer Worlds combat doesn't hold up and feels obligatory, even on hard difficulty. Even the handful of new weapons on Eridanos don't manage to spruce it up at all, and the enemies are very much more of the same, but with more splash damage. The final expansion to Obsidian's original sci-fi RPG is a low-key but intriguing finale. The Outer Worlds, Murder on Eridanos puts us into a traditionally structured murder mystery with a few good turns to investigate across one of its weirdest planets yet. It doesn't revive the stale combat, but it does give us good reason to come back to the crew of the Unreliable to solve one last case. For more, check out our reviews of the other DLC, Peril on Gorgon, and of the Outer Worlds itself. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
It's you.